distant planet, in a far-off galaxy, millions of light years away, comes the Ungrownups.
I like it. We're going to go with it. Okay, so I'm going to count us down and open the show. So in 5, 4, 3, 2... Hi everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Ungrownups podcast. I'm your host Mark, and along with me I have Randall and Mike.
What's up?
Yeah, good to be here, guys.
Glad to have you back. So you guys can probably tell there's like an audio difference this time. So what we're doing is we're doing the podcast over Skype, and we're going to see how this works. And so far so good. I think we've been going for about an hour now, and I think we've got all the kinks worked out. So I guess we're gonna get right into it. We don't have a central theme for this episode, so we're just gonna kind of go back to our old ways of doing news and then break up into segments. So we'll kind of cover some hot topics. We'll drop into TV for a little bit, and we got some toy talk coming up at the very end. So if all you want is the toy talk, skip right to the end. But until then, you guys take it away. You guys I think are taking all the news topics. So what you guys got?
Don't skip right ahead to the end. You're going to miss my best stuff, Mark.
I don't suggest that they do that. I'm just saying if you want the toy stuff up front.
Don't forget, man, we got to do our housekeeping stuff.
That's right. Housekeeping stuff. So, Randall, why don't you take that, because you've got the big news this week.
Well, the big news is that I am writing comic reviews for FloridaGeekScene.com.
Yeah, Florida Geek Scene. They're a really, really great organization. They're in no way like a competitor of Ungrownups, nor is Ungrownups like a competitor of them. Scott, the guy who runs it, is a really good friend of mine. I've known him for quite a while, and he's just a super cool guy. And he kind of reached out to us and was like, "Hey, kind of see what you guys are doing, and do you want to take over some comic book reviews for the site?" And we're like, "Yeah, this is like a great co-op opportunity for us. So yeah, take it away, man. Talk about what you're doing."
So basically what we do is we get the promotional copies of the comics right before their release, and I basically give my opinion, and I rate the story on three main things: story, dialogue, and art, and anything else that I want to. Put my 2 cents worth up there, and people can read it, comment on it, and everything like that. We post it on our website, and we also link it to FloridaGeekScene.com, and kind of have that relationship going back and forth. The cool thing was I got 2 responses already, one for each post, which made me feel pretty good about myself. But it's a lot of fun. It's a really neat idea, or just a neat thing to do, to see the comic before everybody else, but also put my 2 cents worth in. I think the funniest thing I saw when I was looking at some of the other reviews is that somebody actually reviewed My Little Pony and gave them a 10. So it was a My Little Pony comics series, and they actually gave the comic book a 10.
There's a My Little Pony comic book series?
Yeah, I was blown away. And when you read the review, the lady who reviewed it said she was really skeptical and thought she was getting the short end of the stick, basically. And then she read it and she loved it. And
so she doesn't feel like she's getting her money's worth out of her My Little Pony comic.
Well, yeah, you get the idea of what I'm saying. So
holy shit. This My Little Pony comic is horrible. I want my money back. Why would you buy a little like it's the equivalent of somebody writing My Little Pony fan fiction.
Hey man,
speaking of which,
she rated my. Anyway, it's.
Do you guys know about the fan fiction for the My Little Pony?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Here we go.
I don't want to get too much into it, but there's a like group of fanboys that are they're known as bronies.
Oh my god!
And
yeah,
I don't want to rain on the parade of. There's a website called toplessrobot.com.
Love it. Yep.
They no longer do this, but there was a time when their old editor was in place that they ran something called Fan Fiction Fridays. And they
I've heard of heard of fan fiction, but for My Little Pony?
Oh
Yeah.
God, dude, I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure there's Flintstones fan fiction.
Well, of course there is, because those were some pretty hot ladies there. But My Little Pony, it's a little different. I mean, I would say that the main theme of the My Little Pony fan fiction that I've seen has been sodomy.
Oh, okay, all
That's
right.
what I describe
so
it.
so moving on, and real quickly, and quickly moving on.
Thanks for stealing my thunder, Mike.
Right.
I was going to talk about this for the next hour.
Yeah, I know.
That's all my notes are about this.
Real quick, round table it. Betty or Wilma? Go. Which one?
Betty.
Mike?
I've never actually dated a redhead, so
wow. Okay.
I would go with that for the novelty.
Okay. Betty for me. Betty wins. All right. So, please, Randall, move along quickly.
Anyways, check out the comment reviews at ungrownups.com or at florageekscene.com. If you like what you see, go ahead and just drop a comment or tell your friends about it. We also put some links on Facebook. So expect that every Wednesday. It's going to be Comic Review Wednesdays, and right now I'm averaging about 2 per week, and I hope to increase the number, but it's a lot of work to get it done. So
yeah,
I'm
because you basically you get the digital copies emailed to you, Tuesday?
Yeah, 2 to 3 days if I'm lucky, and usually the day before. And what we expect to do is about 700 to 1,000 words, and try to, be very good. The thing is if I don't like it, I got a lot to write. It's easy. But if I do like it and I want to give a comic an 8, a 9, or a 10 score, since I like it, there's not much to say about it except that, oh, I love it, go buy it, but I try to be very, very fair and give both articles that. So on a Tuesday night after a long day of work, it takes a long time, but, like I said, 2 per week, expect on the website, Comic Review Wednesdays. We'll have 2 random comics from publishers like Dark Horse, IDW, anything like that. Not going to be from Marvel or DC or anything like that, but a lot of the smaller, maybe independent publishers too. So
yeah, I think Scott's working on getting DC and Marvel. I think he just has to, work up to it. But I'm sure it's going to happen for him sooner or later. And when it happens for them, it'll happen for us, which is really good. Do you want to tell everybody if by any chance they haven't heard the podcast yet or haven't seen the site yet by any chance? You want to tell them which 2 you've already done?
Yeah, I've done Buffy. It's Buffy number 19. And then the other one is B.P.R.D. The Abyss of Time, Part 2 of 2. Right. So Buffy was Season 9, number 18. Welcome to Team Part 3. So it's Part 3 in a 4-part series.
So clear this up. So, like, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer comic, they keep track of that, like, in seasons, like in the comic?
Yeah, basically.
It's like the show continued on?
Yeah. So in Buffy, they go... they still number the issues like number 1, number 2, number 3, but they'll refer to it as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 9, number 18.
Well, I mean, I guess if we can refer to ourselves as having seasons, then I guess they can too. So
yeah, I think it goes hand in hand with just the fact that it was a TV show and the fans kind of like it like that. So
right. And it makes sense. It's doing something different. It's taking something that's familiar from one medium and then like putting it in another, because that's kind of like what we do. Like we treat our video reviews like they're episodes of, TV shows or podcasts or whatever. We treat, the podcast like it has seasons. So it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, man, that's really cool. I think it's a neat thing that we're doing. It's a neat partnership. I think it's going to be mutually beneficial. And, I like how, like, for 2 episodes in a row now, we've been able to come on and talk about how the Ungrownups have partnered with, yet again, somebody else. And I just think that that's a testament to what we're doing and the community that kind of grows up around, this culture that we're trying to be a part of. And I think that's, like, super cool. So...
Yeah, if you go back to our first episode, we talk about wanting to build these these connections and stuff, and it's happening. And
in a very short amount of time, too. I mean, we have to keep in mind that we only started Ungrownups, back in the summer of 2012. Right. So, in about 9 months, 7, 8, 9 months, I mean, we've done quite a bit. I'm proud of it.
Absolutely. Now. And we're going to keep pushing for more. So,
and one of the other things that we've acquired in our time is Mike, having Mike come on the show and being a part of us. And I know Mike's got some news for us, so drop that knowledge, Mike.
Sure. I'm thinking now about the 5th BroNYCon convention, and
I think we should go there.
that's a real thing, by the way.
No,
the
I don't.
BroNYCon.
I don't doubt it. And it's
There have been 4 of those.
It's just dudes who like My Little Pony.
That is exactly correct. I love how there are these wormholes of nerddom that some of us can circle down, and the rest of us will be like, "Oh man, that is completely ridiculous that other people take part in that." And then, of course, you guys, when you hear about my appreciation for professional wrestling, see, there's the same. That's the same snicker.
No, I think you're absolutely correct. I think it's really not fair for somebody to say in one breath, "God, those people who love My Little Pony are ridiculous." Here, let me show you the costume I'm making for FluffyCon or FurryCon or whatever those people are called. Furries.
You always go in hard on the furries.
Yeah, Mark totally does, but it's a good thing that furries pretty much don't listen to our show anyway. So.
Right.
So speaking of segues,
here's a clumsy one.
So there's news today. It was originally reported in the Latino Review, and it was not verified, but it's also been picked up by Ain't It Cool News. Harrison Ford has officially signed on to come back as Han Solo in Star Wars Episode 7.
And this is something like getting Episode 7, 8, and 9. I never thought that would happen. This, too, is something I thought would never happen, because I think Harrison Ford's even gone so much as to say it in the past, that he would not ever return as Han Solo, because he just didn't care much for the character. So this is great news. I'm all on board.
Well, yeah, I think it'll be cool. I don't know. I guess I always expected it, so I'm just not as surprised. Although you're right, he did say, "Oh, I'm not going to do that."
Mike, was there any specific wording in this review or any of this that he was returning for 7, 8, and 9, or if he was just returning for the spin-off Han Solo single movie?
Specifically, what I'm reading right here, to quote the Ain't It Cool News article, the deal is done for Harrison Ford to reprise his role as Han Solo in Star Wars Episode 7, end quote.
Okay. So this is not the standalone. Then I'm guessing then that the standalone Han Solo film will probably be a prequel with a younger actor. I would be willing to bet, or they would go ahead and announce that as well.
I would agree with that. They're going to have to. I mean, Harrison Ford's getting way old. I mean, look what they did with Star Trek. They brought in younger actors. They're going to have to do that with the Han Solo spinoff. There's no way. It just wouldn't pull it off if it was Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford back when he was in Episode 4, 5, and 6 was young, had a whole different feel to the role. And they've got to pull in a younger actor to pull that youthful part of Han Solo when he was younger.
I mean, to be fair, I think it's harder on Harrison Ford to pull off being an active adventurer in Indiana Jones. Especially with tagging, with Shia LaBeouf tagging along. But I think it'd probably be easier for him to pull off being an older Han Solo, because there wasn't. Most of his action, he's in a cockpit,
right?
Or in a gunner seat. I think he could pull that off just fine. And
his role, if you read some of the stories in the expanded universe as he gets older, it mellows out. There's still some good stuff, but I don't know.
I don't think we're going to follow his diplomatic career.
Right. Yeah, I do remember reading that the spin-off Han Solo movie may focus more on his criminal career, which I think is kind of cool.
As a smuggler, that would be awesome. I'm very curious to see the story of him and Chewie and how they developed their.
Or maybe how they met, like Monsters Inc., Monsters University. Yeah. Hey, so what do you guys think about? What do you think this means for? Do you think Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill announcements are coming any day now, or
no,
what do you think this does for that?
I think Mark Hamill would love to. I don't think they want him. But Carrie Fisher, I think she'll say no in a heartbeat.
Would she have to go back to using drugs heavily?
Yes.
That I don't think she's going to have a problem with. I think she's all right with that.
They need to reboot. They need to not reboot. They need to bring in a new slew of actors. Let the young ones take over. The old ones need to go somewhere and just have cameos from the older actors.
Do you think this is JJ's Star Trek approach?
Yeah, you want to see Spock.
Yeah.
Bringing in a whole bunch of new actors, but bring back one old guy from the original?
Yeah, maybe one or two, or just throw them in somewhere. I think that would be great. I want to see new actors. I want to see new people pull off these roles and bring some life to these roles. Don't get me wrong, I love the original actors, but I want to see some new stuff.
Who are some new actors that you'd like to see in Star Wars?
Yeah. Hell, I don't know. I haven't thought about it that far.
I didn't expect you to stump him so completely with that.
All right, check it out. Mara Jade, Scarlett Johansson, right there.
Ah, there you go. Okay. I'm not sure we're going to get Mara Jade, so I don't think I'll try to find another to fill that role. But I don't know. What about sticking with the Avengers theme? How about Chris Hemsworth as Dash Rendar?
Oh, that's a good one. Yes.
Who knows?
Jeremy Renner as maybe one of the Sith guys.
Incredible Hulk as Luke Skywalker's son. Well, hey, while we're talking about how about Peter Dinklage? We'll put him in Star Wars, right?
Well,
he's in everything now, isn't he?
They got Ewoks and Yoda.
Why does Peter Dinklage have to be an Ewok or an Ugnaught?
That's a bit of typecasting there.
That's okay. It's the roles he fills in anyways. I love Peter Dinklage, by the way. Sorry, man, but you are one of my favorites. But
he's a fantastic actor.
He's not going to listen to this episode.
Well, speaking of Dinklage stretching, he does have. This is a confirmation from Deadline Hollywood. Is that Bryan Singer, the guy who directed the first two, the good X-Men movies, and is now returning for X-Men Days of Future Past, he's going to bring in Peter Dinklage.
Oh, this is great. Was there and there's no word yet on who exactly he's playing?
That's correct. Now, there has been some speculation that I will term mildly ridiculous. But a lot of people really want Peter Dinklage to play this character named Puck, who's a mildly obscure X-Men. I think he might have been Alpha Flight. He was in one of the X-Men offshoots.
So
he was a bad guy, though, right? Puck was a bad guy, right?
No, Puck was. It depended on the whichever author was writing him at that particular time. There were some times when Puck had like some sort of demon inside of him, which was causing conflict, and he was in constant pain because of his miniature size. But no, sometimes he was just a little badass dwarf rolling around doing cartwheels that could knock much larger. I can't even talk about this. It's so ridiculous, and it makes the X.
All right, if he doesn't play Puck,
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if he doesn't play Puck, who's he going to play?
I mean, rumors are out there on the internet that I thought I read that Bryan Singer said he was going to be playing the main villain. So it just stumps me. I have no idea.
I want to see him play all the Sentinels.
Right.
All of the Sentinels just be Peter Dinklage shaped.
Now I'm gonna seriously bring down my geek credit score here, but I've never actually read Days of Future Past, so I don't know if he's in there. But what if he's playing MODOK?
I don't. So Days of Future Past, it's been a good decade and a half since I've read that. Is that accurate?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember MODOK being in that, so if you'll excuse my typing for a second.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a I don't know. I guess it's a neat way to sort of bridge what Vaughn did with First Class, and then catching up with what Singer did with X-Men 1 and 2, and then kind of propelling everything into the future. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but sort of skeptical at the same time. I was really wanting more Vaughn First Class kind of stuff, because I thought that was probably the single best X-Men film we've ever gotten, and I was really hoping to get more of that. And I hated to see him go, so I'm kind of sad. But as long as Brett Ratner's not behind the camera, I'm happy.
I'm perfectly happy with Singer. I love the first two X-Men films. I feel like he really gets the characters, and he's respectful to the Marvel legacy. And
Right.
The Usual Suspects is one of my favorite films too.
Oh,
so.
I think Bryan Singer's a fantastic director.
Yeah,
I love him. Yeah, Usual Suspects, Apt Pupil, I thought was fantastic. I think he's a good director. I don't know. I like the new Superman movie he did. Like, I was a fan of that. Like, I know people hate it, but I like it. So I like him as a director. I was really digging what was going on, like the suits and his choice of actors. I mean, everything that Vaughn did, I thought was perfect. And I don't know. Anyway, hate to see him go. So while we're on the topic of news and comic book characters, so production has started for Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is a really clumsy title, and I hope it gets something better, like Spectacular Spider-Man or something like that. But it started, I believe, about a week ago. And so Marc Webb, who could not be any better named to direct a Spider-Man film, is, of course, back behind the camera again, and he is...
Boo.
Boo. What are you talking about? You didn't like it?
No, I'm booing your Webb pun.
Oh, yeah, that was a pretty bad pun. Sorry. But he's so perfect. Come on.
After Spider-Man 3, I would have applauded, if he would have defecated on celluloid and showed it on IMAX. I'd have been like, that was tremendously better. There's no dance sequence.
Right. Yeah, God, there's so
Spider-Man wasn't emo.
There's so much wrong with Spider-Man 3, but we'd be here all night. But he has been Marc Webb has been tweeting a lot of behind-the-scenes pics and a lot of set pics from Spider-Man 2, and none of them has got me nearly as excited as the one he posted yesterday or early this morning. I can't remember. I did see it today online, and it was. I can't remember what the caption was on the tweet, but it was a picture of the new Spider-Man eye.
Yeah.
The lens that's going in the new Spidey suit, which is going to be tweaked a little bit, and it is silver. And so I am extremely happy, because I was not a fan of all the changes they made in the new Amazing Spider-Man suit. The shoes, the web shooters being visible, the track outfit, how it looked like a track outfit. I don't know. Like, of all of those changes, the only thing that really bothered me was that his eyes were gold. I just was not a fan of that. And so I'm really happy to see that his eyes are going to be more of a silvery kind of white. So it's completely, superfluous, but...
he was so upset about it that on the actual toy he got, he actually painted the gold eyes silver.
I did, and you know what? I think that's a callback. Thank you for that. That's a callback to our very first episode. I think we talked about the Spider-Man toys on the very first episode of the podcast, and I did. I had painted the eyes silver because it pissed me off so much. So that's all I got. It was just
you
tweeted
showed
that. It made me super happy.
You showed Marc Webb. You got him good.
That's right.
Sure.
But I'm going to sit here and judge people who dress up as Mortal Kombat characters.
I'm fine with people who dress up as Mortal Kombat characters. I like Jax. He's awesome.
We're either going to be awesome at the next Dragon Con, or we're going to get our asses kicked.
Right. Oh, hey, are you part of that Ungrownups crew? Come over here. And I'm going to get punched right in the eye.
You're going to get punched by a stereotype?
Right. My sister's a furry, you asshole. Your sister's a furry asshole?
Mm.
How long have you been holding on to that one?
Did you just set up your own punchline?
I set him up and I knock him down.
What do you do?
No, I think on my feet.
Uh-huh.
Keep my head on a swivel.
Oh, man. All right.
Anyway, do we got any more news, or are we going to move on? You know what? We need to move on. We've been doing this for about 30
Yeah.
minutes. So
Yeah.
let's take a quick break, and when we come back on the other side, we'll get into some TV stuff. So we'll catch you back in just a minute.
All right, guys, welcome back from break. We've sort of been talking about levels of nerdiness, and I think it's a nice segue to talk about one of the newer television shows that's on right now. Have you guys seen TBS's King of the Nerds?
Sweeping the nation, this show.
And the answer is no, I have not seen it.
I will say that, yes, unfortunately, my wife and I caught one episode and watched it and spent the entire time, and I'm not going to use real names because they may actually listen to this podcast, and I do not want to hurt anybody's feelings, but we spent the entire time pointing out our real-life friend counterparts to the people that were on the show. We're like, oh my God, that's Robert. Oh my God, that's Lisa. Like, we totally know these people. So I will say, unfortunately, we have caught an episode. So
which one was Randall?
Randall would not make it on this show. Randall would be kicked off day one. Day one, he would be kicked off.
You don't think I can make the show?
I don't think you're nerdy enough. I don't think you're nerdy enough for this show, dude. I think I would probably only make it a day or two. I would probably get kicked off the second episode.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess we're kind of cool.
You know, it's interesting, guys. You
said that in a very half thigh kind of way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No. I just had the opposite reaction when I was watching the show. I don't consider these people nearly nerdy enough.
Really?
Yeah, like not even close. Like, there are I believe they started with 11 contestants on the show, and you know, I should back up a little bit and explain what King of the Nerds is to those who haven't seen it.
Please do.
It is 11 contestants, all of whom are supposed to be, the epitome of a nerd. And they're competing in this reality-based game show that they have a series of contests that are all supposed to be nerd-based. So, like, the challenges have included, like, chess matches. They've included comic book trivia wars. They've had... it's supposed to be the simulation of a video game, but they had like this weird little rotocopter thing that they had moving through an obstacle course while an opposing contestant would shoot at it with a Nerf gun.
How is that nerdy? Because that's like modern day military training.
It kind of is.
How is that?
Among these 11 contestants, I would say that at least 4 of them I would consider well above average in attractiveness.
So you thought there was at least some attractive people on the show? I didn't see any of them.
There's actually there's an African American woman named inexplicably named Mujige.
Oh my God! No, didn't see her.
Okay, that was Moogega. So I could be butchering that, but I think that's how she pronounced her name. And she is not just attractive. I mean, she's a top 5 crush on television for me right now.
Wow.
I swear.
Wow.
There's another girl who's kind of I think she hosts an internet-based show, and her name is Danielle, and I mean she's very thin and she's got a very attractive face, and she dyes her hair pink and she has tattoos, and she's certainly very.
Oh, whoa! What's the name of her show?
Dude, I don't know. I don't do research for this. You don't pay me.
I don't pay you nearly enough to do this.
To do that sort of research.
That girl sounds familiar, and if it's who I'm thinking of, I really agree with you.
Well, of course you would. And then there's another female named Celeste, and she's also. I mean, if I brought her over to the whatever you call the Ungrownups cave of discontent, that thing, you'd be like, I am massively proud of you, Michael. You have done well today.
If you brought any girl over to Ungrownups cave of depression, whatever it's called.
I'm
I
looking
would
at
be proud of you, dude.
I'm looking at the contestants, and I think Mike has a point. They're actually not that nerdy. I mean, out of the girls, only one of them is super nerd, and she was eliminated already. The remaining four are actually halfway attractive.
Well, isn't that the whole point of these like reality based competition shows is to get the best people off as quickly as possible?
Yeah,
I mean, Survivor and Amazing Race. I mean, that's the whole point, right? You get the people who are the most competitive off as quickly as possible, so they're not a threat later on.
Yeah, but that's not really what happened here. In fact, there was so this works kind of like the Real World Road Rules Challenge, in that they'll have a preliminary game that the two teams will play, and then the winning team, they have to select a member of their own people to go up, as well as a member of the losing team. They just get to choose.
Right.
Is the advantage of winning. So when the cosplaying female, her name was Elena, or maybe Alana, but she was supposed to be a huge comic book nerd. Like, that was supposed to be her strength, was her knowledge of comics.
This was the episode that my wife and I watched.
Yeah. And she went up against another young woman named Genevieve, who, again, is a perfectly attractive young woman. She's a little bit nerdier than some of the other cast members, but she's not at that level of like massive physical awkwardness.
Right. I would agree with you. Yeah, I would agree with you.
Yep.
So Alana, the big comic book nerd, goes into a comic book quiz, is what's occurring in her final challenge, and she answers exactly one question correctly and is eliminated.
Right. I also answered those questions because I thought they were going to be, I thought they were all going to be slow pitches. Mm-hmm. And they were not. Like, I was, like, seriously impressed at the caliber of questions that were asked of these people. Like, I consider myself a nerd, a geek, or whatever, and I was straining. I was like, damn, these are, like, legit, like, for real questions. And I was actually impressed with that.
When I look at this, the website and stuff, and it just looks overacted for one, and they're trying to make them more geeky than they are, just with the sayings and stuff. Man, I am not impressed with this at all.
Yeah, it's heavily produced. It's very overproduced. In that competition that Mike's talking about, the quiz, like, once you got a question right, you then, because both of the unfortunate girls that were up there were both dressed in like these horrible, like, female superhero outfits that were like, they were like walking cliches. They were like something out of like a cartoon movie about superheroes, but they couldn't use like real superhero names. So they just made up superheroes. So that's what they look like. And not only did they get the question right or wrong, and then they had to move forward, the way you moved forward, which you had to bust through progressively thicker barriers, like a superhero would bust through a wall. So the first one they go through is like a plate glass window, and then the next one they went through was like foam bricks, and then the very last one was they had to shoot with their mind beams, lasers through a wall, and make it explode. And it's all like there's special effects, and I was just like, what the hell am I watching? Like, this was ridiculousness on TV.
Surprisingly, though, Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes were guest judges on this show.
Oh, and it's hosted by two guys from the Nerds movies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me talk about them for a minute. It's Robert Carradine and Curtis Booger Armstrong.
There you go.
We love Booger.
And let me just say, Curtis Armstrong is amazing at this. I want him to host all the game shows.
They are probably my favorite part of that and the logo, the crown made of the video game controller, I think are the two best things about the show.
See, but Carradine isn't doing too much for me in the show, but Curtis Armstrong, it's kind of like this. The television show Heroes, which was deeply flawed. My favorite character on the show was Matt Parkman, the cop. But his character in the show, it felt like he was playing a character that was in a regular police procedural that happened to be caught up in this world with superheroes, whereas everybody else was playing it like it was a superhero-based television show.
Right.
And the fact that he was able to keep it grounded in some sort of, a different reality than everybody else was in just made him far and away the character that I most wanted to watch on that program.
He was really good. My favorite character was Hero. I just liked him.
Yeah. But for King of the Nerds, it's the exact inverse of this. Everybody else seems to be playing like they're on a regular reality television show. Curtis Armstrong is playing like he's hosting a fucking show called King of the Nerds.
Right. Right. You know what I kind of compare this to? I kind of compare it to like the very first season of American Idol when you had Ryan Seacrest and that other guy.
Yeah, poor
and then like season 2, it's just Ryan Seacrest. And now Ryan Seacrest is like Keanu Reeves and there is no other guy. This is like a metaphor within a metaphor. It just keeps going. It's like Inception. So I think next season on King of the Nerds, because surely it'll get another season because it's spectacular, I think we'll just have Booger, and it'll be, who was that other guy? It'll just be like he never existed. So
the original film series of The Revenge of the Nerds, what was great about that was that they really did show all the different aspects of nerddom were involved in that fraternity, Lambda, Lambda, Lambda. Yes. Because they had not only the guys who were the Anthony Edwards and Robert Carradine, who were the traditional pocket protector, thick, heavy glasses nerds.
Right.
They also had Booger, who was the totally disgusting, socially inept nerd.
Yeah.
They had Lamar, who was the African-American homosexual nerd, who was, completely relegated there because of everybody else disapproving of his lifestyle. That level of nerd.
Mm-hmm.
And
Chocolate Rain.
Yes, and his javelin throwing technique. But my point is that this show only has one type of nerd, and that's just people who have mildly nerdy interests.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not really what being a nerd is. The socially inept, wildly awkward, painful to watch person. That's what I want to watch on this program. I kind of want it to be just massive amounts of Schadenfreude. I want this to be hoarders.
Right.
Where I'm watching this and I'm in pain for them.
Right. You want to watch the nerd version of My Strange Addiction.
Yes, that is exactly what I want, because these people, with the exception of Alana, I don't think any of them has ever LARPed.
Elena LARPed. I'm positive of it.
So I
bet you she was a LARPer and her husband was a furry.
I had a...
God, that one just didn't even go off at all. It just laid there on the ground and cried. Keep going. Shit.
I had a Dungeons and Dragons character. He was a dwarven warrior named Griff Bloodaxe.
I had a...
The amount of
Randall. I thought he'd gone to bed on us.
Amount of time that I've spent playing Griff Bloodaxe is longer than I've ever spent in any relationship with a woman. That is the sort of nerdiness that I want to see on this television show.
Right.
My Dungeons and Dragons character would be a dwarf too, named Bleeding
Gannis.
Bleeding Gannis from the Misty Mountains.
How would you spell Bleeding Gannis?
We'll be creative. BLEAD.
Oh, okay.
And then I don't know what in the world we were thinking recording at midnight. I have no idea what we were thinking. This is awesome. This is either going to be the absolute best episode ever or the absolute worst. We'll let the downloads decide.
So can I tell you something about Griff Bloodaxe?
Absolutely.
As long as I can tell you something about Bleeding Gannis. Carry the
Griff Bloodaxe is even nerdier than you think it is as a name for my...
There is absolutely no way that's even possible.
Yes, it is. I swear to you. There is a text-based dungeon crawl RPG called Ancient Domains of Mystery, and it's a like a rogue or a NetHack like game, and I don't know if you guys know about those at all.
Right. Yeah, I do. I have never heard of that game in particular.
So in Ancient Domains of Mystery, much like Rogue or NetHack, your character appears as, I mean, this is all ASCII, like those kinds of characters.
Yep.
So you're a letter, and you're going around killing other letters, and you know what you're killing because each letter and each color in combination represents a certain thing. So like a lowercase b it's literally a bee, or lowercase j is a jackal, or whatever. And I played this game for 7 years.
Oh my god!
And it did take me that long to defeat the game.
Whoa.
It's really, really complex, and there's like no instructions whatsoever for the game.
I think in one story, Michael has single-handedly out-geeked both of us.
Yeah. Thanks for stealing the show, Mike.
Yeah, but Griff Bloodaxe was the name of one of the characters in this game, so it's a nerdy illusion that occasionally. So
do you have a picture of him?
No, because I'm not really an artist, so I couldn't really draw him very well. I did have a long verbal description of him because the reason he was my longest played Dungeons and Dragons character was because he had the most remarkable Dungeons and Dragons story. Do you really want to?
You've got to post that on our website one day.
Yeah, we
definitely
on
Facebook. I would love to read it.
And while we're at it, we'll also write the story of Bleeding Guinness.
Please do. So that we can finally put this segment to bed because it's gone so far off in the ditch. So we can put it to bed. Randall, you like are getting ready to start watching a new Pretty Geeky show as well, right?
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Sci-Fi is airing on February 26th. Robot Combat League, which is essentially a real-life, Real Steel TV show. It features
the second time in 2 podcasts that we've mentioned Real Steel. That is a great movie. It's really good.
Yes.
It is. I'm serious. It's awesome.
It features 12 8-feet-tall robots that are supposed to beat the crap out of each other that are controlled by these so-called robo-jockeys. It's hosted by WWE's Chris Jericho and...
Y2J?
There you go.
I knew that was going to get Michael to rear up. How is this different than
Robot
Wars?
Combat League. Robot Combat League.
But didn't we have this already? I mean, Robot Wars was this, but they were like building like
Robot
Roombas
Wars was like just little like pots and pans beating each other up.
I thought it was slightly more complicated than that.
They took a Roomba and then they built stuff on top of it. And they just said, "Here you go. Whichever one gets knocked over first is the loser."
By the way, did you guys see that video off topic? But the video of the guy who has a Roomba at home and his dog took a shit on his floor and it spread the shit everywhere. You know, we're gonna have to re-record this episode. Are you guys aware of that? This is not an episode. This is Randall and Mike shooting this shit for 2 or 3 hours.
What did they write in the description of that video that made you be like, "Oh, I've got to click on that. I've got to see shit spread around on this dude's carpet."
It says, "Watches this hot girl flashes her tits." That's the name of the video. Yeah, all right. I got 3 minutes to kill. Click.
That's essentially, that's what it was. I just, I got the Break app, Break.com. It was on there and I watched it and I thought it was
You don't
hilarious.
have to justify your weird perversions, dude.
Right.
Just
okay, so we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back from that, we're gonna do some toy talk. Got some toy topics to cover, and then we're gonna get out of this thing. So, all right, we'll catch you on the other side.
All right, and we're back, and now it's time to talk about one of our favorite parts. We're going to talk about toys. Mark, you got a little something about Toy Fair 2013. Why don't you start off with that?
Right. Toy Fair 2013 just ended this past week. It's a big international toy show. Toy show takes place every year in New York. It's pretty much like the premier toy event where new toy lines are announced, new figures are released for or unveiled for existing toy lines, and it's like for any action figure collector, it's pretty much like Mecca. It's like that's your Mecca, and so I've never been able to attend a toy fair, so I always kind of live vicariously through the different action figure sites, Action Figure Picks, Toy Arc, Toy News Eye, the Fwoosh. I mean, there's a lot of places out there that sort of cover it in depth, and so there was a lot of really good news that came out of it this time. You guys have probably seen throughout the last couple of days, I've been doing a lot of best of Toy Fair, so this is sort of like all the stuff that I've been finding that I really like, that I'm really looking forward to purchase. I've thrown up some quick thoughts about that on the website on Ungrownups.com. So I pretty much covered Transformers. I guess like the biggest news, I guess really, I can really break it down into three basic topics really quickly. Is probably one of the biggest things is the unveiling of Hasbro's new Star Wars toy line called the Black Series.
Yep.
It is a series of 6-inch scale Star Wars figures. So this is like the very first time that Hasbro has sort of broken the 3 3/4 inch mold and sort of gone bigger. Now, a couple of years ago, or several years ago now, there was a toy line that Hasbro did called Star Wars Unleashed. And they were a series of like highly detailed, highly sculpted plastic, like little miniature statues. And these figures were probably, somewhere in the 10-inch range. And they were, very anime inspired. And there was probably, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 that came out. I probably had every one of them. And I still have like 3 or 4 of them that are my favorites. I've sold off the rest. But other than that, and of course the 12-inch line that they've always kind of done, that's always been horrible. This is the very first time that they've made something of this scale. And so I'm really, really excited. The pictures really don't do them justice because in picture form, they still kind of look like, because my brain has this idea that if I see a toy R2-D2, I know that thing's going to be about 3 inches tall, or it's going to be like 2.5 inches tall. And if I see like a toy Stormtrooper, I know that's going to be like 3 3/4 inches. So the pictures don't really do them justice. I cannot wait to see them like in hand, or somebody hold them, or see somebody pick one up, or do like a on the spot review of one with it in hand. I think at that moment it'll probably be a little more real in my mind, but the pictures look great. We're only going to get 8 in 2013, which is good because they're going to run about $20 a piece, and only the first 4 have been revealed, and it's Luke in an X-Wing gear, Darth Maul, a Sand Trooper from A New Hope, and R2-D2. So if those were the only 4 that we were to get in 2013, I probably would just get Luke and R2 and be done with it. I can do without my Darth Mauls. I mean, he's one of my favorite characters, but I could do without him. And the Stormtrooper, he looks cool, but it's a Stormtrooper. So I'm actually really looking forward to this line. I'm really glad to see them go to a larger series of figures, a larger scale. It fits in more in line with kind of like what I really collect. So I'm not really happy about the price point. I really wish they were more in that $15 range, but I can see why they're at that price. I mean, right now, the vintage collection figures, which are 3 3/4 inches, they're $10 a figure, and sometimes more. So 15 would probably be pushing it, but yeah, $20 is a little much. But we'll see how that goes. So I'm looking forward to that. The other 2 topics that are really big is that Mattel actually unveiled the prototype of the Castle Grayskull. That's in scale with the 6-inch scale Masters of the Universe Classics figures. So that's a really cool big reveal. Matty Collector sort of put this out for pre-order last October, sort of sight unseen. They really only put up a sketch of what it possibly could look like. And it's going to be $250 if you pre-ordered it back in October. They said tentatively that the deadline for pre-ordering it was Christmas. Now they've extended it. But now they've raised the price to $275. So if you pre-ordered it at $250, you're locked in at that price, and it won't go up. But I did pre-order one at that price. It's coming out in October of this year, and it looks fantastic. I mean, it just looks spectacular. This thing's enormous, and I've been collecting Masters of the Universe Classics now for about 4 years. I think the first figure I bought was in 2009. So, and that was Skeletor, and then I had to track down He-Man, and then I kind of built it from there. But I'm pretty much done with the line. Today, was Matty Collector's sale. They sell them the 15th of every month. So today was the sale, and I got Jitsu and Ram Man, and that pretty much completes all of the characters that I want to buy. The only other character that I want, and he's yet to be announced, is Too-Bad. I don't know if you guys remember him from the classic line. He was the bad guy that was like two bad guys put together. Part of him was like purple, and the other color was like blue or orange or something like that. I can't remember. But he was one of my favorite bad guys when I was a kid, and he's basically an all new tool. They would have to really tool that guy up pretty much from scratch, and they don't do more than 2 of those a year, so I'm not sure we'll see him this year. So he may not be announced. He's the only other figure I'd like to have, but with the completion of Ram Man and Jitsu, who's always one of my favorites, I pretty much think I can just walk away from this line now. So I kind of got Castle Grayskull because it'd be the cherry on top, of this Masters of the Universe Classics collection, and I know that when Zachary's old enough, he is going to have a blast playing with this enormous castle and all these figures with me. So, I don't know if our next child, which we don't know the sex of, but we'll find out in the next couple of months. But if it turns out to be a boy, then absolutely. In the next 7 years, my kids are going to get so much play out of this thing, and so I think it's going to be awesome. So that was the second biggest thing that was sort of unveiled. But for me personally, the biggest announcement is something I've been waiting for a really long time. And that is Warner Brothers has been officially awarded the 1960s Batman license. It's something that's kind of been hanging around there for years and years and years. And I think Warner Brothers has finally been awarded this license. They can now start handing it out to people, selling it to people. So we're going to start getting a lot of action figures and collectibles, and best of all, we're finally going to be able to own the 1960s Batman show. It's something I've certainly wanted for a really long time, and it's never been available. You've never been able to buy it. The only way you've ever been able to enjoy it is either on TV or on YouTube. That's it. And so with that, DC's doing a line of classic 1960s 6-inch scale figures. They've got Batman, Robin, Frank Gorshin's Riddler, Burgess Meredith playing the Penguin is in the first collection. There's no doubt that Joker will round that out. Romero's Joker, I'm sure, will be in that collection, although he wasn't shown at Toy Fair. There's going to be a 6-inch scale classic Batmobile, which is going to look awesome. The first 2 figures, Batman and Robin, actually come in a 2-pack, and they actually come with a section of wall that you can put them on like they're walking up the wall. So I think that's it's a crazy throwback. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that's about all I got for Toy Fair. So I know you have some Beast Hunters Transformer Prime figures coming in soon, right?
Yeah, actually, I did a pre-order of the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Deluxe Series 02 with Bulkhead, Starscream, Ripclaw, and Smokescreen.
Smokescreen, that's the one everybody's waiting on.
Yeah, so I've got a few of them coming in, and we're going to review the set, and we're going to put the other new ones up on eBay, of course, and also we'll see what we do with the set. But I'm looking really forward to it. They look really impressive from what they do. And hopefully those will be here by Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to that. Got the email today. Got really excited. Wasn't expecting it all because I was waiting for a while. I spent a little bit on my PayPal, and oops, I was a little short on money, but I fixed it real fast. So also we're going to review some Flashpoint figures from DC Direct. There's going to be 4 figures. It's a collector set. Comes in a nice box. You see it on Facebook. We're going to put that video transmission up soon. So we'll get those 2 things up on the website real fast. They're up on YouTube as well.
2 more video transmissions we're going to be doing soon is going to be the Hot Toys Marvel's Avengers Captain America. I've gotten that in a couple weeks ago. I haven't had a chance to review it because I've been like crazy busy. But I'm looking forward to that. And Hawkeye, the Hot Toys Marvel's Avengers Hawkeye, is sold out everywhere. You cannot find this guy anywhere. I could not believe how hard he is to find. So I've decided to go ahead and start piecing him together part by part off of eBay, and it's been quite the journey, and it's almost over. I've gotten most of the parts in and or ordered, so I'll be making my last order this weekend to round out the last few items I need for him, and so I would say probably within the next 2 weeks we'll be able to review the Hot Toys Hawkeye figure and get that up too. So man, that's all I got, dude. That's it. That's all I got.
So real quick, Mike, have you bought your first toy yet?
No, and it actually took every bit of self-restraint that I had not to make penis jokes when Mark was talking about how he was able to go to Toy Fair and look at 12 inchers compared to the 3.5 incher he has at home.
Yeah,
I actually have I have more 6-inch figures than anything else, but
That's not what I hear.
but that's about standard, right? Right.
Maybe for white people. I have not yet purchased any. I do still have some Earthworm Jim toys waiting at my parents' house, but
Nice.
that's as far as I've gotten into collectible toys.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I think we're both on the prowl for a little Transformers reference on the prowl for a Starscream for you. We're just trying to figure out what would be the best one. You heard Randall mention he's getting one in. You're not going to want what he's getting in, so
yeah,
it's not Starscream enough for you. It's a cartoon Starscream, so it's a little bit.
Yeah, it's not as cool as the original Starscream. So,
Well, you know, Transformers was always just a rip off of GoBots anyway. So
Whoa.
oh, you got that
Here
one.
we go. He's starting to troll me, so we're gonna have to bring this to a close.
it was blatant trolling.
Blatant
Agreed.
trolling. Man, this has been a blast. It's been an absolute great episode. It's been a departure from how we typically do it, and so I think it's been great. It's been pretty fun. So I'd like to thank both you guys for joining me, and glad to have you, Mike, come back as always.
Did you call me Matt?
No, I'm just so tired. It's 1:00 in the morning, and
Yeah,
I'm
it
an
is.
old man. So I really do appreciate both of you guys taking the time to do this. It's late at night, and so hopefully it'll reflect in the quality of this fine podcast. Anyway, all right. So we'll catch you guys next time. As always, we're going to ask if you dug the podcast. Please give us a couple of subscriptions. You know, check us out over at facebook.com/ungrownups. Check us out at ungrownups.com. And be sure to check out the Ultimate Collectors channel over at YouTube. Trying to throw some love their way. So be sure to check them out too. And until next time, we're ghosts.
We're ghosts.